folks, Dave the Bartender here with my finished model for Templarscrusade's 4,000 subs competition. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. It's my first time painting up an Imperial Fist, and it made a nice change from all the white and blue I've been painting for my World Eaters. So I followed a very similar scheme to what Templars is using himself. I think the yellow I've used is slightly more orange, but that just may be due to the lighting and stuff I've got going on at the moment. And then I followed pretty much the same method that he uses with the washes and weathering and so on, because that's what I use for my World Eaters as well. So as I mentioned in my previous video, it is a standard Mark II Crusade armor Space Marine, which I've then converted to have the teacup and thumbs up from Templars' intro video. I couldn't quite make out on the video what the word on the teacup is. I think it's something like Sports Direct, which is what I went with on the cup. I tried to keep it the same sort of colours and so on, and then I've used a little bit of water effects to put some tea in. Again, I don't know how white or dark he likes his tea, but I've gone with a sort of medium colour there. There's a little bit of water effects on the base. The base has been built up using some plaster, sand, and then some bits of iron sand and razor wire and a couple of other things. And as well, there's a little bit of, see if I can get to focus on it, a little bit of water effects in the puddle there. And for the personal heraldry on the shoulder pad, I went with just a nice, easy, quartered look with white and blue. And then the whole model, after the weathering and everything else, has been added some Forge World weathering powders just to give a layer of sort of dust and grime on various different parts of the shoulder pads, knee pads, elbow pads, and places which are likely to get a lot of wear, like the bottom edge of the cloak. And it'll be hard to tell, but the cloak has got a very slight highlight of a very dark blue on the black, just to try and cut down on how flat it looked and give a bit more depth to it. And then I went over in the recesses with a few more layers of non-oil black wash, just to bring that contrast out without changing the overall colour of the coat. And I used a new technique that I've been playing with to do the skin. I'm using a combination of the GW Crimson and Violet washes over an elf flesh tone, which I find gives quite a nice realistic look. And the stubble was something which it's the first time I've done it, so I didn't quite know how I was going to do it. What I ended up doing was mixing in a little bit of the Forge World black soot weathering powders with the skin tone when I painted the lower half of the face before the weathering, and then just kind of stippled a little bit of the weathering powder on top just to give those sort of darker areas of stubble. I'm not sure how well it's turned out, but as I said, it's a new technique I've been trying. I'm fairly happy with it, and it's something I'll play around with in the future. One of the features of my World Eaters is that virtually none of the models actually have any exposed faces, so skin's a little bit new for me to be playing with, but overall, as I said, really happy with how the model's turned out. I'll be sending it off to Templars once the competition's finished. I'm sure we'll find a use for it. So cheers, thanks for watching guys, and good luck to all those who've entered.